What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time for another Young Justice double review, starting off with episode 11, Cornered. You can't just do that. You can't just set up Static Shock like that, and then probably say, fuck you guys, watch it in Season 3, oh wait, fucking, like, you can't just do that, because I have a feeling this tastes like the Beast Boy stuff from Season 1. And I don't know what it is about these fucking therapy sessions with Black Canary, but they're always fucking awesome. Because now we got Static Shock set up, he comes in there, I hear the name Virgil, and I'm like, oh, that's familiar. And I see the kid, and I'm like, no. And he says they were hitting me with lightning, they were like static shocks. I was like, no, fuck you. And then he knocks over the paper clips, and they all magnetize. And I was done. That was fucking awesome. They set up Static Shock. If you guys haven't seen Static Shock, I mean, I can't vouch for it too much because I haven't seen the show in years, but I remember really enjoying it. My experience with that show was actually kind of interesting because I didn't know he was a DC superhero at all. So when I was watching the show and then it would have like crossovers with the Justice League and shit, I was just kind of like, oh shit, this is fucking really cool. Like, the superheroes are here in this show that I didn't know was related to the DC universe, you know what I mean? So that was really, really cool. But, anyways, yeah, setting him up was awesome, but like I said, sadly, it's probably set up for Season 3. It tastes like that to me. It seems like a Beast Boy thing, like for Season 1. But who knows, maybe he'll show up towards the end of Season 2. But we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully they will get a Season 3. Fucking Netflix, you got this, bro. Come in clutch with that Season 3. But anyways, joking aside, this episode was pretty much filled to the brim with stuff. I'm going to try to get like the most of the side stuff out of the way. I already talked about the Static Shock thing, and then I'll talk about like the main plot. The other side stuff we had like, well, I know at the end, we have Megan saying her and Superboy need to talk, and they go into her apartment, or a Martian Manhunter's apartment, I guess, I don't know. But, because she approached the door dressed as him, and then she turned into herself, so I don't know what that, whatever. Who cares? But anyways, point is, they're going to talk. So there's that part. We also get some interesting Blue Beetle stuff, because with Blue Beetle, he's told by both the beetle on his back and by Impulse, don't tell anybody about this future. Telling them about it could be what causes it. And by the end of the episode, he does tell them. He says he wants the thing off his back. I don't think they'll remove it, because that would basically end his superhero career, and this is a show based off of DC superheroes, so I don't know if they would take a DC superhero in their show and do that to him. I mean, maybe, I guess, I don't know, but if he does get it removed, is the Blue Beetle, like, the point I'm trying to get at is the Blue Beetle that Impulse knows, is that, you know, our Blue Beetle currently, or is that someone else that the Beetle gets attached to because he told them to remove it? Like, is that how the future's going to play out? And only time will tell. Maybe Impulse knows that it for sure was our current Blue Beetle. Maybe he doesn't. Just have to wait and see, but it'll be interesting to see how things play out. It's interesting that he told them so soon, too. This definitely opens up a couple of doors, because had he not told them and kept it a secret for a while, you could have dragged it out a bit, had him told them later, but we're already, like, in the second half of the season, so I can see why he would tell them now and everything, so yeah, definitely interested to see where they're going to go with the Blue Beetle thing and the whole future storyline and all that stuff after that ending. Definitely interesting. Other than that, we have Nightwing take some of the dudes and Miss Martian over to a new home base, like a temporary base that's like this little... I thought it was pretty fucking cool, maybe because I'm just a humble guy who didn't have a fucking epic fucking Star Trek mansion inside of a mountain or whatever, but I personally thought that the little... what was that, like a storage unit or whatever they were in? I thought that shit was pretty cool, but, like a warehouse, there we go, that's what it's called. But anyways, the Static Shock thing was awesome. The stuff with Miss Martian and Superboy, it was really brief, but it was set up, you know, they'll probably get some characterization in a bit. And then there was a few other things in the episode, like Blue Beetle and other stuff. It was chess pieces being moved around. It was nothing major in terms of story progression as far as the side stuff goes, except for Blue Beetle. And I guess Static Shock, but again, that's still just kind of set up. It's still kind of a chess piece being moved. But yeah, all that stuff was pretty cool. The main plot, what the fuck was this dude's name? Despero or something? Where the fuck did this guy come from? Dude's overpowered as fuck. He's taken on Shazam, he's taken on Superboy, he's taken on everybody. Total badass, barely even trying. They put up this barrier that's like impenetrable, and it's just, he can just take out people with the look of his third eye. He was very overpowered. He didn't talk. But what made up for him not talking was his little robot. His little robot had a lot of charm, a lot of personality. I liked the little robot butler guy that he had. But other than that, it was some good action, some good fighting. Miss Martian was supposed to be mind-fucking this guy, and she wasn't doing it because of what happened with Aqualad. She hasn't confronted anybody about Aqualad as far as I know, though, which is interesting. She knows what happened, she's not saying anything, and she's having trouble deciding whether or not she wants to attack people mentally after what she did. So interesting characterization on her, and the fighting was good, like I said, animation and music and everything obviously great. So yeah, it was a really solid episode all around. Oh no, one of the side things I forgot. Oh, the Reach, yo. I haven't mentioned this guy. I don't think I've mentioned this guy even once. But the wasn't Gordon Gottfried or what the fuck's his name? Whatever. The dude with the accent on the news reports. This motherfucker. This motherfucker is so annoying. It's probably why I've never mentioned him. I don't know what part he's going to play or if he's just purely there to talk a bunch of shit about the Justice League, but I mentioned him. Whatever. The Reach, though. They're doing this thing that you see in cartoons sometimes where a character is like kissing ass with the authority figure and the real heroes know they're the bad guy, but they can always say just the right thing to make the good guy look like the bad guy. It's so frustrating to watch, and it's happening here, and it's just like, oh, I don't like it, but I get the point, I get the idea. I'm not knocking it too hard, it's just my opinion that that kind of thing is kind of frustrating to watch when they can just so easily kiss ass and make the good guys look bad, and, you know, it's just, oh man, it's frustrating to watch, but it works, you know, it's fine, objectively speaking, and, yeah, the Reach fuckers are a bunch of assholes. We already knew that, but they're even bigger assholes than they were before. Just because of that alone. But no, overall it was, and no one finds it a little suspicious that they could just walk up to that barrier and turn it off like they had an off switch. Is that just me? Just me thinks that's a little suspicious? Overall it was a great episode. It had lots of little moments to move the characters around and introduce new elements. We also get explanations on the metagene and what they think it is. They're pretty positive the metagene is just someone's ability to adapt to really harsh conditions, you know, basically kind of like what they did in Deadpool, to be honest. I don't know if, like, the Deadpool movie, the way he got his powers is like the comics at all, but in the Deadpool movie, they basically just stressed his body out and injured him constantly to the point where he would have to mutate or, you know, he's fucked. And that's basically what this was. And yeah, that's pretty much the episode. So the setup with Blue Beetle's pretty much the big takeaway. The main plot is just sort of a, after all these plot-heavy episodes, and, you know, the plot was moving around when it comes to the side stuff, but in terms of the main plot, it was just a nice beatdown, you know, it was just a nice fight. It was really funny seeing, what's his name? The big black dude, I don't know his name. It was cool seeing him dressed up as the Guardian and all that. It was kind of funny, and he had some moves, you know, and I was like, he was like, thank you, Black Canary, because she probably trained him. Yeah, you'd be dead. You'd be like a puddle on the ground if this dude started making serious fucking contact with you, because this dude hits hard as fuck. But yeah, it was still fun. It was fun to see him bluff his way through that. Is he going to be like the new Guardian? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. What happened to the old one? Okay, but anyways. Yeah, maybe they'll explain that. I don't know. Or maybe they already did and I forgot. No, I don't really have much else to say. This was just a really good episode, so I'll just, I'll give it a solid 8 to 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty great episode, and move on to episode 12. Okay, so episode 12, True Colors. Young Justice with another fucking badass episode with a bunch of shit happening. But it doesn't feel rushed, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of shit happens in each episode to move things around and set things up, but they aren't, like, they aren't rushing it, you know, they aren't doing things too fast. I don't know what it is, it's working out really nicely, but anyways, start off with some of the smaller things, like with the previous review. I wanted to mention real quick the Gordon Gottfried motherfucker. He's voiced by Tim Curry, which is cool. He's still an annoying character, but it's cool to see Tim Curry doing some voice work, because Tim Curry sounds awesome. I knew I recognized the voice. I needed to look that up, and yeah, he is voiced by Tim Curry. I checked the credits. That's cool. Another voice I remembered or I recognized, and I'll mention that a little bit later in the review. But anyways, that's cool. The other thing about the Gordon Godfrey dude, maybe I've mentioned this before. If I did, I apologize. But there's a nice little Easter egg whenever he badmouths the Justice League. You see the Justice League logo that he puts on his screen is the Justice League logo from the original cartoon from, like, I want to say the early 2000s. I want to say late 90s, but I'm pretty sure that was an early 2000s to mid 2000s show. But yeah, that Justice League show, that logo is used as his little fucking thing that he uses to badmouth them. So I think that's a cool little Easter egg. If I already mentioned that, I do apologize, but I thought that was cool. A couple of other smaller things that happened. They do try to remove the Scarab from Blue Beetle. I want to say his name is Miguel. I could be wrong. But anyways, I don't know. I forget his name. Sometimes I call him by their real names, and sometimes I call him by their superhero names. I don't know. I've just called him by his superhero name for so long. But anyways, they try to remove it from Blue Beetle, and they can't, because this thing is super overpowered, and it's making its own antibodies, and it's healing the damage they did to it. They basically just say, dude, you're stuck with that thing, sorry, which sucks, but, it's expected, to be honest. But anyways, that thing really is dug into him, too. Like, obviously you see it on his back, it's obviously dug in there, but yeah, it's really in there, which it was cool to see from, like, a microscopic level, which I didn't know Bumblebee could shrink that small, so that was kind of interesting as well. But other than that, that's that scene. And lastly, for the smaller stuff, actually no, one more thing, but we also have Sportsmaster betraying the light, saying he's going to fuck up Aqualad, he's going to fuck up Black Manta. He's like, fuck you guys, eat my shorts, I'm out. And they replace him with Deathstroke, like, on the spot. Like, no honor among thieves or criminals. Deathstroke comes in there. Cool that they're calling Deathstroke Deathstroke, because they had to call him Slade in Teen Titans, because they couldn't say Deathstroke on TV, I guess. I guess, stroke, death, I guess those things are, pretty bad, but I don't know, they called him it here, so fuck it. Whatever. And he has the ponytail, which is weird. I've never seen him with a ponytail like that I can recall. Maybe in one of the not Teen Titans, maybe in one of the Batman and Robin movies that they've been making with, like, the really annoying Damian Wayne. Seriously, fuck Damian Wayne as Robin. That's a really annoying character. But anyways, at least in the animated movies. I don't know how he is in the comics or how he develops. But regardless, that's also the first place I saw Blue Beetle, actually, in the Justice League vs. Teen Titans movie. But anyways, little digressions aside. What the fuck was I even saying? Holy shit. Deathstroke, right. The ponytail. Looks weird, but it's cool to see Deathstroke. I think this is the first time we've seen him in Young Justice. I'm not too sure about that. I forget if we've seen Deathstroke before. But yeah, Sportsmaster betrays. Deathstroke comes into the picture. Cool little shuffling around of the chess pieces and everything, kind of setting things up a little bit more and moving things around. We also get a partnership between the Reach and LexCorp, which is obviously bad. That ties in with the main plot, which I guess is a good way to transition into the main plot. The only other thing to mention is that Simon is going to try to fix Aqualad, because apparently he is a vegetable now because of Miss Martian. I thought maybe she didn't quite hit him with her full power, but apparently she did. So he's fucked, and Simon's going to try to fix him, but in doing that, he's going to learn everything about Aqualad. Your first thought is, oh shit, he's going to learn everything about the double agent stuff, so definitely interested to see where that's going to go. But anyways, finally, the main plot, going to the farm where they're building this superfood, and apparently people are now ingesting things that the Reach need them to eat. For what purpose, we don't know. Does it tie in with the metagene stuff? I don't know, but they're eating something in this food that it's superfood. Apparently it gives you everything you need. It's like the perfect food to eat, but something else is in there that the Reach wants them to eat. We don't know what that is yet. Also, one small little thing that I just remembered. Savage, I think his name is Savage, the dude with the scars on his face, he said he has a son. Who? Am I supposed to know who that is already, or are we going to have that revealed? Because I'm not sure who his son is, but that's interesting that he said that. I feel like he didn't say that for no reason, but maybe he did, I don't know. That's the last little small thing, though. The main plot, Robin, meaning, current Robin, Blue Beetle, Impulse, and Arsenal, which I thought Arsenal was going to be a bad guy or like an anti-hero, and maybe he still will end up being one, but they all team up, and that's a good squad, by the way. That's like a really good squad. I like that lineup. They all team up for this mission. They break into the place. They need to steal a sample of what the Reach are putting in the stuff, kind of take the tour as civilians and kind of see what's going on, and It was supposed to be covert, but of course Arsenal hates Lex Luthor, so blew the place up. Black Beetle showed up. Fight with Black Beetle. He just clowns him completely. He's just fucking him up left and right. But then Green Beetle shows up, sounding straight up like Samurai Jack. By the way, Samurai Jack Season 1 review coming fairly soon on my channel. But Samurai Jack coming in, Phil Lamar, one of my favorite voice actors, he comes in as Green Beetle, and he starts fucking up Black Beetle. They have a pretty good fight. That first move he pulled, where he like flipped and like grabbed his sword with his feet and then threw him into the ground and like he smashed through the ground and all that dust kicked up. That was some badass shit right there. That put a smile on my face. That was awesome. But anyways, they have a cool fight. It's cool to see him shape-shifting and changing with the armor and everything and kind of helping Blue Beetle fight him by telling him a couple of weaknesses. But we also see the mask peel off and he's Reach, which I guess is kind of obvious, but yeah, he's a Reach. And are they called the Reach? Like, is that their species? Are they Reachians? Like, I don't know, whatever the fuck. But it was cool. He was introduced, he explained his backstory. They don't quite trust him just yet, which is smart. They want to look some stuff up. And then he creates a telepathic link with Blue Beetle and says he wants to talk to him. And that's pretty much the episode. I liked it. Oh no, and at the very end, Lex Luthor's like, we need to make our own team. We need to make our own Young Justice team. And we see Static Shock in there. We see Virgil, so maybe we will see him earlier than expected. At least earlier than I expected. Except he'll be playing for the wrong team. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, and they also had Ty in there, so apparently he may have developed powers as well. I mean, he didn't get disposed of, so I guess maybe he has the potential. It'd be interesting if they had like a young team versus young team thing going on. That would definitely be cool. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else about the episode. That was pretty much it. It had a really badass action scene in the middle, which took up a pretty big chunk of the episode. The subplots were interesting, especially the Simon Aqualad thing. I definitely want to know where that's going to go. And yeah, everything else in the episode was pretty damn solid all around. Trying to remove the Beetle, I'm glad they tried to do that right away, and we saw that they can't do it. That's all I have to say about the episode. It was a really good one. Once again, I'm going to give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a great episode of Young Justice. Animation, don't want to sound like a broken record, but obviously fantastic. So with all that being said, what did you guys think of these episodes of Young Justice? You can tell me in the comment section below. You can also follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already or if you like what you've seen here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.